My name is Alyssa Brittingham, and this is my speech on why hunting is beneficial. Hunting has been around for over 2 million years, which goes back to the creation of man. People started hunting in order to obtain food and stay alive. Flash forward to today, about 11.5 million people in the US consider themselves as hunters. While it was considered a way of life in the past, and the only way to survive, many people today consider hunting animals as cruel and uncalled for. There are many reasons why hunting today is beneficial, not only to the hunter, but also the economy, environment, and wildlife conservation. Hunting provides fresh food for the hunter and their families. Wild game is a really great nutritional protein source, and the animals make their living in the wild. They forage on natural grasses and forbs, they run from predators, and they exist in a way that nature had intended and designed to power our bodies. Hunting is also a cheap, hands-on way to get food. Hunters contribute in a big way, benefiting natural environments. The taxes from hunting activities go to the states or federal government for purposes like enhancing wildlife habitat, managing and maintaining parks and wildlife refuges, and maintaining parks and wildlife, and conducting surveys and research to determine the status of not only game, but also some non-game species. According to Delaware.gov, in Delaware, 11 cents out of every dollar that's spent somewhere in hunting, whether it be licenses, tags, or some like courses, will go to wildlife conservation throughout the state. The Federal Aid and Wildlife Restoration Act, which can also be called the Pittman-Robertson Act, enacts an 11% excise tax on firearms, ammunition, and archery equipment. The revenue generated from this tax is distributed to state fish and wildlife agencies each year in order to support the management and conservation of wildlife populations. Since it was passed by Congress in 1937, the Pittman-Robertson Act has generated more than $12 billion for state conservation initiatives. Another good thing about hunting is that it contributes to the economy. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service wrote that people who hunt and fish contributed immensely to the national economy. They spent more than $70 billion in 2001. This included things like licenses, guns, fishing equipment, and the costs of lodging, travel, and other goods and services. Studies show that hunters pump $55.4 billion into the economy each year. Plus, recreational shooters and anglers join hunters in that to jointly spend about $94 billion annually. Every state also requires the hunter to take a hunter safety course before they can get a hunter's license. For example, I just finished my hunter safety course, and from this I learned how to be a safe and ethical hunter. A popular misconception about hunters is that they're uneducated, they don't respect the animal, and they just kill to kill. But that's not the truth. Hunters are taught to be educated about every animal that they'll come in contact with in the field, and they learn to respect them. There are hundreds of laws that are in place that come to protecting and preserving wildlife. A good example of this is different hunting seasons. There's many different seasons for every species where you cannot hunt them when they're mating, when they're reproducing, and every species there's different types of firearm that you can hunt within these seasons that have been carefully studied and placed in order to preserve and protect these certain species. There's also laws with how many animals you can take home from each hunt, or how many you have to get tagged. There's really specific and certain protocols and laws in place in order to protect these animals. Hunters are also really educated about the positive impact that hunting can have on wildlife. We learn things such as how some prey animals, such as elk and deer, can become overabundant in their habitat. This can become because of lack of predators or landscape changes. It can also threaten the well being of other species, and in some instances, impact humans as well. When deer become overpopulated in areas that are urban and residential, it can lead to an increase in vehicle collisions. Also, the number one cause of death in deer is starvation. This is due to years of chewing plants and leaves, and their teeth get to wear down. Starvation is a horrible death for animals. It's extremely painful. It's long term as well. So, hunters are trained and um, taught to only take a good, clean shot. This will ensure the most painless way for the animal to be killed and harvested for meat, which being um, shot for meat and eaten, and the whole part of the animal being used is a lot more ethical than a deer starving to death. Hunting also manages game populations, which helps to balance out local ecosystems. In conclusion, hunting is beneficial to the environment, the economy, and the hunter itself. With the spread of hunters' education, more people are becoming educated and ethical hunters who respect their prey and use it to benefit not only them, but the people and areas around them. Even if you're not a hunter, becoming more educated on hunting and the reasons to hunt can help find more common ground between hunters and non hunters.